What's up, everybody? Hello. What's going on? This one wasn't planned. This is just another one of my when I feel it moment, right? So, welcome to the SMD family. If you're joining right now, I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes here for people to join, and it's just about myself, and I'm gonna share it with you. I'm gonna share some things about myself that after watching Kevin Hart was on Joe Rogan, and that was he just was on there a day or two ago, right? But it was just an amazing, inspiring story. Okay, and so watching that video just inspired me to inspire other people. Okay, and the best way to inspire is just share a story about myself, how I've come to be in front of you today on this YouTube channel. So if you follow me now, I'm gonna give you kind of an idea of how it went for me, and it will go the same as you as soon as you find whatever it is, your passion. You just got to move all the obstacles out the way, right? But I didn't realize that there were obstacles in my way until I started waking up, right? So I was talking to a couple of clients today on the phone, and it's a wonderful feeling. The satisfying feeling of it is when I get off the phone with them, they breathe a sigh of relief. Like, oh man, now I feel better. Because in a pandemic, things are, people are running off of fear. They're doing things out of fear. And that's just a natural process. When you're out of debt, I'm not part of that fear. So I'm not wrapped in all that stuff of everybody panicking and things of that nature. I don't have that fear. So not having that fear allows me to identify fear with clients. I'm like, hey, that's just the way you feel. It's not really like that, and I keep it all mathematical. And it's just a wonderful feeling to actually know, like, I'm doing something that I know I love doing, right? I absolutely love doing it. I can do it every day, all day, 8 hours a day, and it would never feel like work because I would keep helping people, right? And as I combined with the calls and combined of what I saw Kevin Hart's interview on Joe Rogan, I said, let me tell the story of myself so people can get an idea what they can look for, so they can have an idea to be like one day be where I am today. I'm not even saying where I am today is big. I mean, you guys know whatever big is to each person, but if you create something and just get one follower, one person, all it takes is one person to believe in you. If that one person sees it, now it's more likely another person that sees what that person is going to see that inside of me too, and so on and so forth. That's how it works, right? But the only way you can emit that type of energy, you already have to believe in yourself that whatever you're saying is true, right? And so for those of you that do not know me, I was a 20-year computer engineer for 20 years, right? Making six figures, college educated, all that stuff, right? But I still wasn't feeling fulfilled, right? Even though I did everything society was telling me to do, like get a house at this age, have kids at this age, be married at this age, you're supposed to have a car at this, you're supposed to have this type of car, you're supposed to have this type of job, you're supposed to have this type of income. I did all that, right? Thinking that's how it was supposed to happen. And then when I achieved all of that, I remember saying this to myself. When I achieved that, I was like, how come I don't feel like I thought I was supposed to feel if I obtained all this stuff, right? But now that I'm out of it, I obtained that through financing, right? So none of it was mine. So the feeling The feeling that I had, I'm telling you after the fact, the feeling that I was having as unfulfilled, something missing, there's because you can't really put your finger on it, and I couldn't really ask anybody, right? I was in debt, and none of that stuff I owned. None of it. I didn't own any of it. That's what the feeling was, but I didn't know that's what the feeling was. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you what happened that changed my life. All right, this is what happened. Okay, I didn't know I was in debt. The reason why I didn't know I was in debt, because everybody around me was in debt just like me. So I thought it was normal. So since I didn't know what this feeling was that was preventing me from doing something, I can't explain that part, right? I was in my car and I yelled out loud in the car, "This cannot be it." I said it just like that. I said, it just cannot be it that I get up, go to work, go home, get up, go to work, go home, get up, go to work, go home, all the way to age 65, 70, or whatever age they deem retirement age is. Whatever they say, they always move it. Nobody really even pays attention to that. They're moving it up and down. Nobody ever stops and says, "Who are you to move that number?" Just because you move that number, you don't move my number. You move a number, whatever number that is. But when you're in debt, you don't know that. But anyway, I said, this cannot be it. This cannot be it. This cannot be. I mean, I put it with so much feeling into it that I said it with feeling. This cannot be it. What I didn't know is that I yelled that out to the universe. Because if somebody was walking by my car as I'm yelling this in the car, they would have looked at me, thought I was crazy. Who's that crazy dude talking to himself in the car? That's exactly what I would have said if I would have saw somebody doing what I was doing. But what I didn't know I was doing was yelling it out to the universe. As soon as I yelled it out to the universe, it puts things in motion. I started doing things that just didn't make any sense. I didn't know why I was doing it. I just something inside of me said, "This is what you must do." I can't even explain that part, right? So I started Googling just debt. I started Googling debt, right? Next thing you know, and I don't even know why I was Googling debt. I have no idea. But I just doing it. Then I came across Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey says, "Hey, apply simple mathematics to your finances and you'll win with money." Now, I got into computers because I've always been a logical thinker. If 1 + 1 = 2 and 2 + 2 = 4, Dave Ramsey has to be right. This is how I think, because this is how you must think in networking. You got to be like, okay, this network is part of that. You go in that switch. Which VLAN is that one on? Okay, this IP address range is within this VLAN. So only those two. It has to be some kind of communication. Damn, I was going so, man, I lost my train of thought. That math. Because I got so many things running through my mind right now. The math just made sense. And once I applied math to my finances and got out of debt, my whole world changed. My whole entire world changed. I knew I was onto something, right? I knew it still wasn't, "Hey, I'm gonna help everybody out of debt." It wasn't like that, okay? There were several different stages, okay? But first, once I got out of debt, I still worked a year. My whole life was different at work. I didn't tolerate things anymore the way I used to. I didn't tolerate bosses. I didn't tolerate, hell, I used to hate going to a meeting that the boss set up and the boss was late to the own meeting. That used to piss me off. I wouldn't even allow that now. If I went to a meeting and the boss set it up and he was 10 minutes late, I would get up and leave. And then if they contacted me later, I said, "Hey, you were late. I'm assuming that you was going to reschedule." Because you got to remember, once I got out of debt, time is the most valuable thing on earth. It's so obvious right now. It's so obvious that time is the most valuable thing on earth. It cannot be replaced. I knew that when I was in debt. When I was in debt, I knew one day I was going to die. So that obviously meant that time was the most thing on earth, not money. It's not clear it wasn't clear when I was in debt. I sold it for a price all the time and gave away a lot of it. All that stopped. Okay. All that stopped. And then after a year, something told me it's time to quit. And I kid you not, I remember, and I remember this specifically, okay? I remember I was sitting at my desk. Now I'm debt-free during this year, right? I'm debt-free sitting at my desk reading a white paper on an upgraded version of some different software. I used to work with VMware software, right? And I was reading some upgraded version of white papers on it. And right in the middle, as I'm reading this white paper, something said to me, you don't give a fuck about this shit anymore. I kid you not. That's how it said it. Now, I don't cuss a lot in my videos, but I'm trying to illustrate to you what was said to me in my brain at this moment. Now, I just stopped. I was like, whoa. I'm like, look, I mean, I know it's me, but it sounded like something else said it, right? It said it just the way I just said it. Okay. I don't even want to keep repeating it over and over again, right? And then I remember stopping and saying to myself, that can't be true because this is my bread and butter. I make 6 digits here working here. I make 6 figures working here. So I can't stop learning this. That's what I said to myself. I can't stop learning this. Then I went back to try to read it and it repeated itself. I just told you, you don't give a fuck about this shit anymore. And then I couldn't read it anymore. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was talking to myself again in my head. I wasn't talking out loud, but I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do if I don't do this? What am I going to do? I don't know anything else. The person inside of me, which I know is me now, right? It's just a higher self of me, right? It said, don't worry about that part. Don't worry about that. But still, I was still like, what am I going to do? But this time, when it finally told me to quit this job, it said, hey, I remember getting up. I went to the window and I was looking out at the sun. I remember the time of day. I remember it was going down because I was at the end of my work day. I remember it was going down and it said, it's time to quit. Now, normally, when I thought about quitting a job, I used to think about all the stuff. What about my life? What about my car? What about this? What about that? What about this? All the stuff I owed, right? I paid off all my debt, so I owed nothing to nobody. So debt was no longer an excuse. My bills were no longer an excuse to keep me from quitting. Because that's the first thing I thought. What about oh, that's right, it's changed. I'm not in debt anymore. So I quit. And when my coworker said, hey, LJ, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Where are you going? What job? Because people think when you quit, that's normal, right? When you quit, you already got another job lined up normally, right? But when they asked me, now mind you, I don't know anything. Nothing's planned. Nothing is planned. They said, LJ, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. You got another job? You got another job lined up? I said, nope. They said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. You should have saw the look on their faces. What do you mean you don't know? I said, I don't know. And then as I'm saying that, you know what they said? I wish I could do that. I turned to them and said, you can. I can show you how to do it. They said, no, thank you. I mean, after I told them, you got to get out of debt, they said, never mind. Now, these are the moments those kind of moments were bringing me closer and closer to what is happening today. Okay. Now, as I quit that job and figuring this out, I had to first break the 40-hour work week, right? I had to break that out of my system because when I was in debt, I didn't know the 40-hour work week was a program. I did not know that. Now, since growing up, born as I can remember, I've always known this. Everybody around me had a job. Everybody had a job. Everybody, hey, you get this job, you work here, then you retire. You work here for 30 years. That's a locked in job, bloggity blah. Everybody was 40-hour work week, weekends off, all that stuff. Hey, it's great. It's the weekend. I didn't know that was a program. Saturday and Sunday are just the days of the week. They're not special. They're not special. They're just days. When I think about 40-hour work week now, that sounds like prison to me. That sounds like absolute prison. I don't even care if I was working from home. That still sounds like prison to me. Financial prison. I had to break that. That took a year. All the while, during the year, I'm waking up more and more and figuring out it's just mathematics, right? But as I'm telling loved ones, my close friends, hey man, I got the answer. Check it out. All you got to do is get out of debt and you'll be rich. I sound like I was crazy, but this time, it's not like when somebody finds religion, right? They're trying to preach you religion and this and that. This is something I'm preaching like it's a religion, but I can 100% prove to be true with mathematics. This is how I knew I was on the right track. This is how I knew. Because I was in that same boat, speaking and talking the way people in debt do today. I was saying all the same things. I thought I got great deals I thought I got a car on sale when I financed it for years. I thought I was a homeowner with a mortgage. I had not a clue of how much debt I was in. I had no idea of my tax bracket. That was all me. Not a clue. Only people in debt don't know that stuff. I didn't know that. But when you actually show somebody, this is why I love this so much. This is why I love what I do so much. When I actually show somebody mathematics, and then when I show them the math, I ask them the math. I say, is my math true? They have to say yes. They have to say yes. But then you look at them and say, but do you believe you're broke? They would say, nope, I don't believe I'm broke. Do you believe you're a homeowner while having a 30-year mortgage? They will say yes to your face. Yep. You believe the equity in the house is yours, even though the house is not even yours. They will say yes. Right to your face. And I can say to them, I can 100% prove this to be true. You are incorrect. I can show you with mathematics. They still won't believe me. That's what set me on this path. That's what set me on this path. Now, let me give you an example. I'm going to show you guys something, okay? Let me show you guys something. Now, I want you to see this. This is something that I came up with a while ago, but this is an example of what I can show somebody. I can have them read this statement at the top. Now, remember, SMD family members, we can see this. People in debt cannot see this, even though I'm showing them. Even though I'm showing them, they can read this and still won't believe it. Money, when I came up with this theory, and not even a theory, it's a mathematical fact, right? I gotta make sure I'm not using the wrong words when I talk about this. This is something that I can prove. Prove it. That money doesn't exist for people in debt. Doesn't even exist. I can prove it. They still won't believe it. You can take that, share it with your friends. If you're new to the channel, test it on yourself, test it on your friends, and check this out. And if you take this, I want you to understand something. If you don't believe it, and all of your friends don't believe it, That's why you're all friends. I'll say that one more time. If you look at this, input your own numbers, and you don't believe it, and you take this mean to all your friends and they don't believe it either, that's why you're all friends. You don't believe in mathematics. Shout out, you know what? Let me give a shout out to you guys. Gabriel, Ill Wills. Who else was that? Ill Wills. Oh, Ill Wills, Gabriel joined the group. Hey, man, you guys are my first 2 members. I appreciate that. Now the pressure's on. I got to get it popular. I'm going to get it in there this week. You guys are going to love this first video. I promise you. You guys are going to love it. I'm putting some time into it. You guys are going to love this first video. It'll be in there. What's today? Tuesday. It will be in here this week. It'll be in there this week. It's going to be an uploaded video, okay? And you guys give me your feedback on it. Tell me if it was very informational, so on and so forth. So shout out Gabriel Ill Wills for the first 2 members of the group. Much appreciated. You guys putting the pressure on me, man. I got to get busy now. You know what's so funny? I get a kind of pressure to put these videos on here, but you know nobody was in the new group, so I found myself slacking a little bit because nobody's in there, right? It's like, uh-oh, ding, ding. I was like, oh, damn, I got nothing in there. Okay. All right, I'm going to get it in there. What's up, Quentin Nicer, our cart? What's up, Mike? You got your sexy tee on. No, just my tee. Hey, what's up, AJ? Nicer. Jared. It's okay. Back to this. Okay. This is what shifted me, okay? Now, these things started helping me discover things more and more, okay? This is what drives me. And this is what, when you sign up for my service, man, you guys are going to know everything I'm sharing with you, right? I'm not going to go that deep into the free area like this, but I'm going to just show you what you can see when you're out of debt. And this is what drives me even more and more every single day, because every day, I kid you not, there's another piece of the puzzle that comes to the whole financial equation. Now, I had to discover, doing this helped me discover this. It helped me realize it's just green. There is no color when it comes to this economy. There's really no opposing sides. There's only one thing. It's math. Do we all agree in math? Do we all agree in mathematics? Yeah? Okay, then we're all on the same team. Period. That's how it works. Period. If you don't believe in math, you're over there. If you believe in math, you're over here. It's that simple. Okay? 1 + 1 = 2. No matter if you're Chinese, white, black, Oriental, Mexican, French, math is math. Math doesn't care what color you are. It's 2. Period. Now, I started, this is the reason I started helping people, because I knew I could never be wrong as long as it had to do with mathematics. And this part is really difficult to explain. Something was driving me, because there's nothing like a feeling of going into something and you're never going to be wrong. I'm never going to be wrong, ever. I'm never going to be wrong. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that to brag, okay? That's not a bragging thing. The reason why I'm saying I'm never going to be wrong, because I'm going to do the math right in front of you guys. And everybody owns calculators on their cell phones, right? So they're going to punch the same numbers in their calculator as what I'm putting on the screen. And then when their calculators match my calculators, then they will see why I'm saying I will never be wrong. See? If you follow it like that, you know that, okay, this means that 1 + 1 = 2. He said it's 2, 2. Okay, then he's right. Period. That's how it works. When I realized people in debt that disagreed with me, they were totally unarmed. They're totally unarmed. And and this is the crazy part about it. They don't even know it. They don't even know that they're unarmed and don't even know how. And it's just math. I keep telling them right to their face, it's math. Is my math right? They say yes. And I'm like, then I'm right, right? Right. Then how come you don't believe it? There's only it's just logical. If the math is right and you don't believe it, that means you're wrong. Now, if you said that to a person in debt, they would get upset. And then when you see them get upset, you go, I don't get why you're mad. Why are you mad? I didn't invent mathematics. Why are you mad? Because they don't want to let go that they were wrong. You guys know, do you know how tough it was to wake up at 40 years old and realize the only thing that was preventing me from becoming a millionaire was me? Nothing outside of me was going to get me to a millionaire status, but me. When you get out of debt, there's a million people trying to sell you ways to millionaire status because you don't know it's you. That's why they're selling it to you. I didn't know that. I did not know that. This is what drives me now. That's all, you know what? That's all that drives me. I'm trying to get out there further and further so I can get bigger and bigger, like bigger and bigger popular people in debt to get to see me. Because when you're in debt, you don't realize it doesn't matter how much money you make. So you might see a millionaire and you automatically assume that they got money. That doesn't mean that. That just what makes you. Did they show you bank statements? When you see somebody's stuff, let me explain something to you guys. This is my life. I don't look at people's stuff. That means nothing. A person's house, the car they drive, the clothes they wear, the watch they wear, Gucci, Jordans, Versace, whatever, that means nothing. I don't see any of that. I don't see any of that. And it doesn't matter who it is. It's just the way it is. It could be a star. It could be it could be Denzel Washington. I don't assume that he's rich. Many people do. I'm not saying he's not. Okay, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I don't look at people like that. You can see it doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter. I didn't know that when I was in debt. I don't see any of that. I just see the person. When you get this is going to be a hard one. This was going to be a tough one. This one, I'm going to tell you something that really bugged me for a long time. Because to become rich, man, it's obvious. Okay? When I'm in debt, right? When you're in debt, when you go to apply for credit, what does the business do before they give you credit? They look at your credit report. Now, okay, when you're in debt, you think they're doing. All right, let me think about it. When you're in debt and a business runs your credit report, you say, okay, they're looking at my credit score, they're looking at my DTI, debt to income ratio, they're they're factoring, hey, 50%, 20% credit cards, 30% house, 50%, all these made up numbers, man. Let me tell you guys something. All that stuff is made up. Okay, it's made up, right? The only thing they're looking to see if you're in debt and how much debt you're in. Because trust me, money doesn't even exist for people. All right. Money doesn't even exist for people in debt. Right. So they barely know how much debt they're in. But this is what the businesses do. They know you're not, they know you don't know you're in debt and you believe debt is normal. They're just trying to see how deep you are before they toss you out to the piranha. But anyway, my point is this. Now that I'm out of debt, if your credit report has a credit score and it has no debt on it, it's zeros, right? Anybody I do any kind of financial business with, it's obvious. Ask to see their personal credit report. If they're in debt, I'm not doing financial business with them. If they're in personal debt. Know why? Because they haven't taken care of the business of themselves. Why would I go into business with them if they haven't taken care of the business of themselves? That makes no mathematical sense. That is so obvious today. That is the one of the most obvious. No, I didn't wake up and say, hey, why don't I just do like the businesses do? And anybody I do business with asks to see their personal credit report. Voila, done. I didn't know that. It is so obvious today. And when you get here, when I bring you here, your credit report will be your weapon to navigate through all the financial bullshit in the world. You don't look at their stuff. Hey man, I got this and I got my company is here, my company's there. I'm pulling in this much money, I'm pulling in that much money, and you just sitting there listening. Oh really? Oh okay, yeah. Oh damn, you got all that? Okay, all right, yeah. Let me see your personal credit report. They're gonna give you a blank stare. What do you? Oh, this is what they're gonna do. Hey, my credit score is this. You're gonna go, no, not your credit score. Your whole entire credit report, all three of them. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I'll show you. I got mine here, right? I can pull it up on my phone right now. That's what I would do. I can pull my credit report on my phone. You want to see it? All right. Let me see you log into yours right now. I want to see it. They won't. Because I'm going to tell you this. Those of us that know, if somebody came up to me and said, Linnell, I'm not going to do business with you until I see your credit report. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I will automatically know that they know. Right off the bat, I already know. I'll still show it to them. But if somebody's asking me that question, that's a sign. Oh, you already know. Okay, cool. Here you go. That's the gift you guys will have. And this is what else that drives me, okay? This is what else that drives me. You will never, ever be able to feel what I'm talking about if you don't pay your debt off. You'll never know. It'll be mathematically impossible for you to understand what I'm saying. Impossible. Mathematically impossible. You won't be able to navigate through this financial economy because you can't see the full picture. Being in debt, listen to me, being in debt took out a huge chunk of the financial equation, all the way out of the chunk. I would have never seen this in a million years had I remained in debt. I can see what's going on now. I can see what's going on with the economy, with this coronavirus. All you got to do is unplug and watch the people. That's all I do is I just watch people. And what do I say to myself? Hey, what would the majority do? And that's not really difficult. That's not really difficult to discover or find out what they'll do because they're all in debt. So they're just going to follow wherever the money goes. That's where they're going. This is obvious. And you base your money making what they're going to do. You already know what they're going to do. So I think, okay, what was this? Pandemic worldwide. It must be a financial restart. That's what it sounds like to me, because only a pandemic can do that. Think about it. That is the only thing that could reset a world economy. Only a pandemic can do that. Nothing else can do that outside of the world blowing up. I would have never seen that when I was in debt. I would have been like, okay, this is how I'm thinking. Okay, because I'm taking you guys all the way out for what drives me today. Okay, all the way up till today. I go, okay. If they close down the city due to a pandemic and then reopen it back up without no without no antidote, you could either, at this moment, you could either jump in like everybody else. Oh my God, they're crazy. They're opening it up. That food is not going to be this. Oh my God, germs can spread and blah, 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 right? You can go with that, or you can step out of it. And don't just step out of it and go, okay, what would the majority do? Okay, what would the majority do if they reopen back up? They're showing us. They're running out and acting as if nothing ever happened. Nothing. They're not. But if you say, what would the majority do? I would expect them to do that. Why? They're in debt. They're begging. They're begging on social media. Oh my God, I can't wait to get back to normal. I can't wait to get back to normal. It's never going back to normal. What are you talking about? This is a whole financial. So I said to myself, I go, okay. All right, they're going back. So they're going to either let it fade away into like it never happened. If they let it fade into darkness like it never happened, I said, okay, now I got to think, then what was the purpose of the pandemic? It was just the key to start the new economy. Now it started. Okay, why put the people back in there? They're the oil. So pandemic, restart the economy, right? Use the pandemic to start. But you're like, hey, what about the majority? They are the oil. You got to put them back out there. Now they got to they're the oil of the new engine. It can't run without the people in debt. This is obvious to me. And you know what's so crazy, right? This is a blessing and a curse, honestly, to be able to see this much stuff, right? They do it right in their face, too. Right in their face, right in their face. Not even realizing they're accepting it because when I say they're not doing anything, they didn't do anything to me. Okay, I'm telling you right now, the government didn't do anything to me. Nobody can make you work. That's slavery. You can't, if you say, hey, I don't want to work here anymore, and they say, yeah, you do, but you got to work there for free, that constitutes slavery. Slavery has been abolished for years. That's been gone for years. But if they can deem you essential worker in the middle of a pandemic out of something that supposedly can kill you and pay you 20% less for the same amount of hours, that's the same thing. If I was at a job that did that, I would say, no, I'm not. I quit. I'm not a slave. They do it right in their face. They're the oil. And now, if you get upset listening to me talk like this, I want you to understand something. The people that are the oil, they are there by choice. People in debt choose to not trust math. They choose to. They're choosing. If you could show somebody math and they still don't believe it, you say, is that right? Yeah, but you don't believe it? They're choosing to stay there. If I can, and again, listening to, this is what's driving me now. If I can get to some school or like catch some kids in like maybe fifth or sixth grade, catch them right there where math is still in their brain, and then show them that all they have to do is always apply mathematics to their money and they will always win. And just show them with simple math at that age, it'll lock into their brains at that age. Show them that it's not normal to keep student loans for 20 years. Show them that it's not normal that your student loans are older than your car. It's not normal to have student loans older than them. Do the math on that. There is absolutely no excuse. I kept my student loans for 10 years. There's absolutely no mathematical excuse for that. None. Show them how to not fall for the comparing student loan debt interest to earned interest in the stock market and all this other stuff. That is complete, absolute nonsense. Oh man, the student loan interest rate is low, and if you invest in over here and get 6-7%, then you can pay that. That is the absolute stupid worst advice if anybody have ever said that to you. And there has been plenty of people that said that to me. When you hear somebody say that, and then this is what you say to them: hey, but I've had my student loans for 15 years. What inside the stock market is ever going to get me to pay that back? What stock is in there? There will be none. That's what you got to ask yourself. How long have I had my student loans? And the person that's giving you that advice, this is what I want you to say to them. Hey, but by the way, I've had my student loans for 20 years. You think that's still good advice to invest in the stock market? That's what I want you to say to them. If they say yes to you, you get up and leave their office immediately. Because right there, a person like that, they're telling you they don't trust math, and they're telling you to your face. They did me so bad. They did me so bad. This is why I'm sharing it with you guys, to know what happens to you when you're in debt. This is what drives me. When I hear my friends say they were all day at a car lot to buy one car. Do you know they only do that to people in debt? They did that to me. I used to actually prepare myself to be at a car lot all day. I did. You know what drives me when I see people do that? I want to come. Hey, you know you don't have to do that, right? You don't have to do that. They only do that to people in debt. Because if you're on this car lot if you're on a car lot financing a car, and you're right there you're telling the whole world you have no money. Why? Because you're financing a depreciating object with interest. Let me say that one more time so you understand what you're doing when you go to finance a car. I didn't know this. It's one of the worst financial obvious, loudest mistakes you could ever make out loud to people who understand money just like me. When you go to a car lot and stay there all day to finance a depreciating objects with interest, this is what you've done. You went to a place and gave away 8 hours of your life. You just sat there for 8 hours. Something that you can never get back. When you're in debt, we say these things all the time out loud. Oh man, well, I'll never get back that. I want you guys to understand something. You're giving away 8 hours of your life for free to legally tie yourself and finance a depreciating object with interest. Not only does the car go down in value, but it goes up in price at the exact same time. See these things? See these two arrows going like this? It creates a gap. This is where gap insurance comes in. If you have gap insurance, you are in debt. And they're doing you so dirty. They're kicking you while you're on the ground. You don't even know it. They're kicking you while you're down on the ground. Your chains are rattling everywhere. Your links are just, you can't take them off because you keep adding links to your own chains. I didn't know I was a slave. This is what drives me. If I can get kids really young, they will never experience what I experienced. None. This is what drives me. This is what drives me. I didn't know for the first 40 years of my financial adult life, I did not know money didn't exist for me. Didn't even know it existed. I didn't even know it did not exist. Let me show you something. All I had to do to realize this, take the money that I had, cash, which was hardly anything, minus all my debt, I would have clearly saw that money didn't exist for me. Clearly. This is what drives me. Let me get to these things real quick. Salute. What's good, LJ? Sun is out. Guns are out. Now, it's not so much sun out today, but we're about to get out there in a minute. Jared, what's up? Nicer says, yep, that's what they asked me when I put in my 2 weeks notice. What are you going to do? Where you going? I said 2-month vacation in Cali, stay nearly 5 months. That's what I'm talking about. Gabriel said, best freedom is being your own boss. Yes. Being your own boss is being the boss of you first. It all starts with you. What's up, Nicole? Being your own boss is being the boss of you. Jose, LJ, when is the live with Denzel? Oh, that's Friday. That's Friday at 12. I'll send that notice out. Thank you, Jose, for reminding me about that. It's this Friday. Oh, Mike's official. Thank you, guys, man. You guys putting the pressure on me. Man, I appreciate that, man. I really do. I don't think I take that lightly. And please forgive me for not having something in there already, but you guys know I put out content, so it'll be in there. I promise you. I don't do that. Okay. So I appreciate it. Nicole, what's going on? Yep, toss you out to the piranhas. I know. Headband Aaron, good to see you, boss man. What's up? Hey, that expensive car I got rid of. Oh, okay. I only owe 2 G's now. Now I'm looking for a used car. Okay, cool, man. That is good to hear. You're almost free. As soon as you're free, you get to dictate your own insurance too. You can put on whatever kind of insurance you want on it now. LJ is changing lives. Thank you, Gabriel. Appreciate it. Thank you, Nicer. Hit that like button. SavingsMinusDebt at CashApp. I got my, what's that thing called? The one inside here. What's that called again? Gabriel says, when I was a kid, I thought being rich was hard. Yep. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like when you look at the people around you, because that's the only place you can look. Become a member of the new SMD group, Life North of Zero, by hitting on the join button. Thank you, Nicer. Ill Will says, LJ, I heard this girl say on her Instagram live, she just finished her law degree and was over $100,000 in student loan debt. She said, I will just pay the minimum and never pay it off or go back to school. See what I'm saying? They say those things. This is why I love what I do, because you guys got to remember, though they say things like that, they don't know they're saying that. Okay. They don't know they're saying, you know what? I'm just going to be a slave for the rest of my life. They don't know they're saying that, because when they say I'm just going to pay the minimums, That means they're literally saying that I'm going to pay on this bill until I'm dead. So AKA slave. She says, I'm going to be a slave with a law degree. But this is what she doesn't see. She doesn't see her law degree is masking her that from seeing that she's a slave. This is why it's masking a person like that. Somebody with a law degree, law career, but they got student loan debt up the ass, right? Right? On the outside, because the world sees them. See, this will be your gift, okay? The world sees, oh, a lawyer, that must equal money. That must mean. So when they're the lawyer, they gotta portray that image back to the people so they can see, oh yeah, you're right. This is how lawyers look. This is how we dress. Didn't you see us on TV? You saw how all the lawyers and stuff dress on TV. You saw the houses they live on TV, right? That's how we do it, just like TV. That's what they don't know that they're just talking to themselves. I don't see none of that. I just see them talking to each other. That's it. Whatever. It doesn't mean anything. To me, that's a person, a lawyer, that's a slave. That's it. They're just a slave. They're a high-paid slave. And even if one came up to me and said, hey, that's not true, I'll turn to him and say, I can prove it with mathematics. Don't take my word for it, take math's word for it. Gabriel says, paying the minimum is truly slavery. That's like the king's favorite slave. Oh, that's the favorite slave. This is what I see. I'm just telling you guys what I see. This is why they belittle student loans. Now, it's brilliant. When I say they, I don't want you to think I'm saying they in a negative way. Okay, they're not tricking anybody. All people got to do is do the math and say, oh, damn, if I do that, I'll be a slave for the rest of my life. Oh, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pay it off, right? But they don't see that. But it's matched. They make it little. They make the payments low. These are all the things they keep. It's brilliant. They have people believe in it. So first of all, the belief. It's okay to have a student loan your entire life. That they already made that belief come in. They make the interest low, so you really don't think about it. And then when it's time to get loans and invest in other things, all the people, the financial advisors always go against paying off student loans, and then they use the interest rate as a example. Oh man, it's so low, so you can pay it. Why this is you earn this? It's all used. They let you put them in forbearance, delay it 6 months. They stop payments if you go to school, all to keep you in debt. All the while knowing nobody ever stops to say, this is what people in debt don't say. They don't think about. They don't say, damn, how come you can bankrupt everything else but except student loan debt? Why? Nobody ever questions that. I never questioned that. Hey, you can bankrupt almost anything else except IRS debt and student loan debt and a couple others, but I'm gonna just focus on student loan debt. You cannot bankrupt student loan debt. Nobody ever stops to say, well, why? You think I ever did that? I didn't say, well, why not? Why can't you do that? Okay. Nothing, not even a light popped in my head to say, wow, that's weird. I didn't even think that. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. You mean this is what I should have did. Wait a minute. If I owe the IRS some money, I can go to prison. But I can owe student loans for the rest of my life? That didn't even wake up. So when you hear people accept that they're never going to pay off their student loans, now I want you guys to follow me closely because I want you to see this. This is what I see. Now, if you got slaves convinced that they're never going to pay off their student loans, right? Do you really believe they're going to pay off a house? Even thinking that makes no mathematical sense. People with student loan debt, they are prime candidates for houses. You know why? Because if they haven't even paid off their student loans, you think they're going to pay off a 30-year house? No, they're not. No, they're not. If they went to college for 4 years, but having their student loans for 20 years, you think they're going to pay off a 30-year house? No, they're not. You think they know that? Nope. They don't know that. Ask anybody with a house. You have student loans? Just ask them if you want to. If you tell you, I'm gonna give you guys some gems right now. Okay, for those of you that don't really understand money, this is all you got to do without alerting to the slaves. Anybody you know that has a house, I want you to go up and say, "Hey, man, do you still have your student loans?" If they say yes, they're in debt. And that house you see, they're never going to own it ever. Go to college for 4 years, paying your student loans for 20, and then you think you're going to pay off a house? No, you're not. No, they're not. That's all you got to do. Hey, man, you still got your student loans? They say yes. That's it. That's all you need to know. That's enough. I don't need to hear anything else. And you know what it's like living in this world, man? It's like, wow, damn, you don't even know that? Nobody ever came up to me when I kept my student loans for 10 years. Nobody came up to me and said, Linnell, you went to college for 4 years, right? I would have said, well, yeah. Why in the fuck are you keeping your student loans for 10? Why? Is there, have you not made that amount of money in 10 years? Linnell, your student loans are $40,000. You didn't make $40,000 in 10 years? Please make this make sense to me, Linnell. Please? Please. And you're walking around here wondering why you're not rich yet? Is that a joke, Linnell? Is that a joke? Are you making ha 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 ha? Is that a joke? Linnell, please tell me that's a joke. Please? Nobody said that. Nobody said that to me. And you know how they make the big banks look like they're big, bad, and evil? No, they're not. They're not evil. They're not doing anything. You know why they're just big and beautiful and all this stuff? Because they've been at it for generations. Of course their banks and everything's gonna look like that. This is generations. The stuff you see, that represents generations. Nothing else. No, nothing else. Yeah, yeah. They got a lot of money. Yeah, but they understand it because they've been at it for generations. That's why. That's why they have that money. That's why their buildings look like that. That's why. Here, let me give you an example so you can understand when you think, wow, what do you mean? They're always ripping them up, ripping us off, and all this stuff. Okay, overdraft protection fees. You wouldn't have overdraft fees if you just paid attention to your money. But since you don't pay attention to your money, they charge you for not paying attention to your own money. That's why the buildings look like that. See how it works? They're not tricking anybody. They're not. Super chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Will Wills. I'm getting, man. Thank you, Will Wills. Gabriel says, paying the minimum. Slaves. They were slaves. Headband. Aaron says, do you think foreign traveling and passports will be withheld from debt slaves later on this type of government? Nope. We need slaves. We need the economy runs on debt. Okay. Without slaves, it wouldn't function. Whatever you put everything in place that debt people in debt will go to. If they open it, you got to think about it this way. What if they open things back up? Debt people will go on vacation with money they don't have. All I'm doing at first, at first I was jumping the gun by saying, oh, the gyms are done, the cruise ships are done, movie theaters are done. I was screaming all that, right? What the piece I was doing wrong, I wasn't paying attention to people. All I had to do was step back and say, what would the majority do if they opened up the economy right now? They would flock out just the way they're doing right now. What if they gave awesome deals on cruise ships? What would the majority do? They would buy it. What about the virus? They don't care. All you got to do is follow people, and you're going to always win with money. But first, you must get out of debt. You can't be in debt and win with money. You can't. That's impossible. Our carb says the banks want you to pay the minimum. That's exactly. They don't want you to pay off debt. Like, okay, I'm giving you guys some gems so you can understand how it really works, so you can get it. Okay. Now the banks, they don't want you to pay off debt, because if you paid off debt, they wouldn't make any money, right? It's like, duh, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, you think about it this way. It's like, you always hear people out on social media, Google, hey man, I'm thinking about paying off this credit card, but I heard it'll hurt my credit, right? And then all the other people jump in, yeah, man, if you it'll knock you down a few points and this and that, and it'll hurt your credit, blah, blah, blah. So they don't. And they leave it open so they don't hurt their credit. And then one day an emergency is going to come up, and then they're going to use that credit card for whatever they deem emergency, whatever, right? But when you get out of the debt matrix, that's a trick. They put that in place so you won't, so you'll keep the credit card. They own the credit, Experian, TransUnion. They own all that stuff. It all works together. They own it. So if they want you to stay in there, they got to put scare tactics in place so you'll keep it there, right? So, hey man, so this is what people in debt do. Hey, I heard if you close a credit card, it's gonna hurt your credit, and then they jump into other people with debt. Like, yeah, that happened to me. Oh yeah, don't do that. You do 20%. They all talk debt talk. They're all talking debt. They're all talking debt. They put that in place for them not to do that. You get out of debt, you say, oh, you mathematically, all you gotta do, if I close it, that means the money's all mine. I'm no longer paying interest. That's how it works. When you have cash, you don't worry about credit. Who cares about a credit score? I buy my stuff from people in debt. You think I'm going to finance? I'm not financing anything that goes down. That's number one. You can never get rich if you finance something, right? You're financing depreciating objects, mean you'll never be rich, right? Once you stop doing that, then you let the people in debt, all the slaves, go buy everything at full price, whatever. If Apple says that phone is $1,500 and they finance it, I guess it's $1,500. The new Note 10 Max is $1,500 too. Notice how they're all the same. One can't go too far. They're all the same, but they make them high enough to people in debt believe the only way they can do it now is finance it. So not only do slaves believe they can't get a car without financing, now they believe they can't even get a phone without financing. And let me tell you something, you guys, okay? Let me tell you something. There's not many of us out here that know this type of information. There's not many. And that'd be 100% ego to say if I was the only one. I'm not the only one. Obviously, somebody put this whole structure in place. So I'm obviously not the only one. There were so many dumb things I did. This is what drives me, because I don't want people to. I don't want you growing up thinking that's how it is, because this. I don't want you guys thinking that's how it is. Like, if life is hard, money's hard to get, blockety block. It's not. None of it. Just stay out of debt. That's it. Just stay out of debt. Herbert Walker, NC Biggs, appreciate you guys. Man, you guys putting the pressure on me. You're putting the pressure on me. Okay. Okay, now I got a duty. Woo! I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I got to get on it. It'll be in there this week, though. You guys are going to love the video. It's going to be an uploaded video. I'm not going to do lives yet, okay? I'm going to do this uploaded video first, and so I can see you guys. I need to see you guys' response to it, okay? What's up, Jaws 2003? Let me tell you something else, Gabriel, because you can understand. You can understand what I'm saying to you, okay? So listen, I'm gonna help you see outside the box, okay? So you can understand the purpose of that. When they say they're gonna wipe out student loan debt, that's just in my opinion, okay? Number one, they're never going to erase student loan debt ever. They're never going to do that. They're never. That's way too many slaves under their control. They're never going to release that many slaves. That would think about it this way, okay? You guys don't really see the bigger picture. If they wiped out everybody's student loan debt, you know what kind of hit, not a crash, but you know what kind of hit the economy would take if they wiped out people's student loan debt? That's in the trillions. That's millions of slaves, millions. They'll never release that many of their slaves ever. So this is what they do. They throw it out there because you got to remember, slaves already have given up themselves of ever paying off that student loan debt. So they're going to grasp to any kind of hope that it's a possibility that one day it'll be wiped out when it will never. That's why you can't bankrupt it. That's a reason. There's a reason why you can't bankrupt it, but they won't accept that. Okay. They're going to hang on to that hope. And this is what most of them do. Then they start going to school, start getting checks, start getting the money, spending on other stuff because they heard the possibility of it getting wiped out, which will never happen. All that does is bring in more slaves. Because what they do, somebody will read that. I heard they're going to wipe out student loan debt, and then they spread it around. Untrue, something read that wasn't true from the very beginning, and then they spread it. But now it can be even spread through social media, right? So they'll start doing stuff as if it's going to happen, but it doesn't. It just brings in more slaves. After the new economy comes, they're going to have the pick of their slaves. It's bad to, it's like a blessing and a curse at the same time. With all the jobs being gone, I'm just telling you what I see. With all the jobs being gone, people lost the jobs that they've been there for years. There's going to be a lot of skillless people because the jobs they once had will no longer exist. They're not going to exist anymore. Now businesses are going to have their pick. They will always have employees for at least the next 5 to 10 years, always, at any rate they choose. Charles 2003 says, it's better to pay cash for those phones, even with the upgrade rebates of old, they still passed the cost of phone to the customer, just like making monthly payments. It's better to pay cash for those phones. I only pay cash for used phones. I would never buy a new phone, cash or credit. I would never finance a phone. So XOXO says, so what to do to increase your cash flow? It counts on if you're in debt or not. If you're in debt, the only thing you can do is work, right? You gotta, because people don't understand that they can get out of debt by increasing cash flow and decreasing their current things going out. Okay. They can decrease that. And most people don't even realize that they can change that. They can reduce their expenses and damn near still live the same lifestyle as to people in debt. They wouldn't even know the difference. I get this, for example, let me give you an example. I'm on AT&T and I pay $20 a month and I got the same phone service as everybody else that's paying $100+ a month. See what I'm saying? But if you tell somebody in debt that, they won't believe it because they believe the cost that they're paying is normal. So if I tell them I'm paying 20, they would say something's wrong with your service. That's why you're paying 20. It's cheap. It's this, it's that. They always come up with these excuses knowing nothing about it. Even when I tell them, no, I'm on the same system as you are, but I'm paying 20. They don't ask. They just assume it's bad because they believe the price they're paying is normal when it's not, but they don't know that. So that's kind of you got to get in a little more detail if you want me to personally ask that for you. So what do you do to increase your cash? It all counts on you. What do you want to do? I mean, did you lose your job? Because this right now, it's really hard to say something like that because we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of something that has never been seen before in our lifetime. Okay, so it's never existed. But what I tell people and clients, right now is the time to get to zero. Michael Rambo says, do we get to hear you more of your personal story on the private group? Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. Things I will tell in there that I'm not going to tell out in the open. I'm just not. But I will tell in the group. I will do that for sure. Because you guys, I got some stories for you that's really going to just blow your mind. But, you know. Gabriel says, how you think the new economy will work? From what I'm seeing right now, this is the time for the businesses to be like Uber. I keep repeating this. This is their time to be like Uber, Amazon, making everybody 1099 workers because they had to put everybody home to work from home to survive. You think now that they know that they don't need a building anymore? This is their chance to mimic Amazon and those guys. This is their chance. They can make everybody 1099 workers, make them take care of their own taxes, make them take care of their own insurance, make them take care of all that. But this is just what I see. But this is another thing that this is another thing that I really see. Do you know how much in taxes that's going to generate? Do you know how much in taxes that's going to generate? Because you got to remember this. Here are millions of people that have been in W-2, been on W-2. Now, this is just coming to me, okay? This is just coming to me. And I didn't think about this, right? For years, all of that stuff was taken care of by my job. I didn't have to know none of it. None of it. Never once did I stop to say, let me understand at least some of it. Now, this is just coming to me. I'm telling you, never once did I look at my paycheck and say, let me just try to understand some of this. I never did that. Never. Now, here are millions of people that have been on W-2. We're going to be on 1099 that know absolutely nothing about taxes. Nothing. 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 Now, when they were W-2 workers, they already had the mindset that it was taxes that was preventing them from getting ahead. Oh, this tax, the city tax, that tax, this tax, it's the tax that's been keeping them down, right? So they're going to take that same mentality and become a 1099 worker and not pay their taxes. You don't believe me? Ask some Uber drivers. Ask a Lyft driver, ask food delivery drivers. Say, hey, are you in tax trouble? Ask them. You paying your tax right? I don't know. Well, I ain't did it in a year. This is how they think. Oh man, I ain't did it in a year or two. They ain't said nothing to me. Nobody's come to me. I know. Yeah, I know. I bet you and your friends all think the same thing too, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Now you times that by millions of people. You have no idea the tax revenue that is about to come. Oh my God. Huge. NC Big says, I want these graphs. LJ, looking forward to it. Man, I'm putting it together now. And and remember, I'm keeping it very simple. So I don't want you guys thinking that it's going to be those financial graphs that you see on financial channels with all these squiggly lines and this goes up and that percentage goes up. But if you watch this, it has nothing to do with that. Nothing. All you got to do is watch people. You don't have to pay attention to any of that. None of that. And then when you do look at it, you'll look at it in a different way. You'll say, oh, I know why that line is squiggling down like that. I know why. Because they're doing that. Cosmic Wisdom says, Yo S&D family, finished working in the garden. I see this stream. Herbert Walker says, LJ, you've inspired me to relocate and start a new life. I will save at least $6,000 per year by relocating and being closer to the beach. And you know what? You are going to feel better, Herbert. Uh-oh. You are going to feel better, man. It's not just about the money, Herbert. It's about you. Seattle is a computer city, right? Technology is there, right? If I wanted to make a lot of money in computers in the industry, I would have stayed there. But it's not about the money. I couldn't stand living there. It was gray sky damn near every day. Gray sky and rainy. I had enough. Herbert Walker says, I automatically increased my cash flow when I became debt free. Automatically. See how you automatically increase your cash flow, Herbert? People in debt don't know by automatic they're in debt. They go deeper and deeper in debt every single day simply by being in debt because of interest. They could just be at home and do nothing and go deeper in debt and not spend a dime. People in debt don't even realize they don't have to actually get up. It helps, but they could stay at home one day and not leave the house and not buy anything, and they're still spending money. And they don't even know it. Click the join group. I'm probably late on the message. You probably already. Nicole says, how do we get to it's the join button over there. Hit that join button. Go to my Savings Minus Debt YouTube. Go to the main page. There should be a join button. Hit the join. It will says sign up for LJ's consultation service. LJ will assist you in eliminating a lot of stuff. Sharif says, L, what do you think about the CARES Act mortgage forbearance? What about it? What about it, sir? Josh 2003 says, couldn't that be a good thing for people if they are 1099s? You could have lower taxes, insurance. Yes, that's true. But you got to remember, if you've been a W-2 worker all your life, you know nothing about that. Nothing. When you're a W-2 worker, you really believe that taxes are the reason why you can't get ahead. They don't understand that it's them. You can't walk up to a person in debt and say, hey, it's not the taxes, it's that finance Lexus. It's not the taxes, it's that finance motorcycle. It's not your taxes, you financed a dog. It's not the taxes. You see that brand new iPhone you have in your hand? Yeah, it's that. They're going to take that same attitude and they're going to go over there and not pay their taxes. And that's what I'm saying right now, Josh 2003. If you know somebody that works for Uber, Lyft, anything that's 1099, ask them, hey, man, you keeping up with your taxes? See what they respond with. And then you'll have your answer. Now you times that by millions of people that were W-2s. Is it better to owe taxes at the end of the tax season? For me, I say yes. To say, oh, I wouldn't want them giving me back anything, because I would trim everything to the law. everything I could to not give a lot of money during the year, and then at the end of the year, at the tax season, pay a check. Like, for example, let me give you an example. What I would do if I could go back to be a W-2 worker, like if I worked a W-2, I would go see a tax person, right? And double check, because I'm not a professional tax advisor, right? I would ask them, could I, on my W-2, could I check the box and say be tax exempt for federal tax, and then up my allowances to like 25 or something, some crazy number legally, right? And then at the end of the year, could I just write a check to what I owe? I would ask my tax person, could I do that legally? If they say yes, that's exactly what I would do. I would go to my job, check, say no federal tax, take all allowances that I possibly legally can, max the whole thing out, and say, then at the end of the year, all I got to do is write a check, and then I'm good. Yeah, that's what I would do. But you got to remember, when you're in debt, first of all, it's mathematically impossible for you to do that. You can't do that. That's impossible, right? Number two, when you're in debt, you don't have that kind of money to do anything like that, right? No, I'm saying that wrong. No, if you check that box, because there's a lot of people, like right now, there's W-2 people that check that box and say, don't take out federal tax, and then they're in debt, right? But then they get used to, they adjust their debt lifestyle to not paying federal taxes, and then get themselves deeper in debt. And then that's when they get themselves in trouble. This is why I'm not talking or saying that people in debt should do this. I'm saying, take this information to your tax person, only if you're debt free. Take it to your tax person and say, can I do this legally? All I got to do is write a check. Yes, cool. Then that means I get to keep my money all through the year and do with it as I wish. Job 2003 says, also in 1099 jobs, they have an app called Stride Tax to help you set the correct amount of. Yeah, so that kind of stuff means nothing to people in debt. You know what this is what people, check this out. If you know a person that is an Uber driver, a 1099 worker, using apps like Earnin, to get their checks early, I guarantee you they're not paying their taxes. Guarantee you. Now I'm gonna say that one more time. If you know a 1099 worker, let's not even pick on Uber and all. Let's just say this. If you know a 1099 worker that's using an app called the Earnin app, I guarantee you they're in tax trouble. Guaranteed. Gabriel says, I can't wait for the membership video. Hey man, I'm putting it together. It'll be up there in a couple days. Now it's going to be an upload, okay? But then after the upload, I'm going to get on a live, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? Because I need you guys' help, because I'm going into a different area and I'm going to need you guys' feedback. Ill Will says, oh boy, one of my good friends have a 1099 story. He is in technology. He was getting paid and he didn't think about taxes. LJ, 3 years later, he's crying his ass off. Sure is. Millions of people do that. Millions. Those 1099 workers that are doing it right now, all these old W-2 workers, about to join them. And these 1099 workers that are messing up on their taxes, guess what these new W-2, so these new W-2 people, they're new to 1099, right? They're going to jump over here, and guess who they're going to ask? Somebody in tax trouble in 1099. Hey man, I'm new to this. What should I be doing? And then they're going to give them their advice. And then it's going to continue. It's going to cascade. All wrong advice. You guys have no idea the taxes that are about to be generated in penalties and fees. Thank you, Ill Wills. Exclusive membership tier to the Savings Minus Debt channel. Follow these steps. Click join under the like button. Oh, excuse me. In the description field next to the subscribe button. Oh gosh, I'm barking like crazy. Sorry, guys. Okay. Thank you, sir. Ill Wills, always looking out. Charles 2003 says, LJ, I used to do DoorDash and I quit after 4 months because I wasn't making any money. I didn't even make enough to qualify to get a 1099 MIC from DoorDash. Wow. Paper delivery guys are 1099 works. I've done it. Yep. But they don't understand that if they just take the time to understand taxes, they would be making more money. But they already have the mentality that taxes and debt is just way of life. You always hear people in debt say these things. Oh man, ain't nothing but taxes and death. Well, if that's what you believe, you keep saying it. That's exactly what it's going to be. It. Sharif says, is mortgage forbearance a good program? Will it help people? No, it doesn't help people. It just prolongs the inevitable. But see, this is what when you're outside, this is what I see on the outside. If they need forbearance after 1 or 2 months of a problem in the economy, they were already in trouble before that came. The pandemic just accelerated it. That's all. They were already in trouble. If 1 or 2 months put you behind on your mortgage, you were already in trouble years before that. Years before that. It's just, if you need forbearance or what's the other one? With the D, I forgot, whatever. It's the other one, deference or whatever, right? If you need that, that means you're in financial trouble. That's what that means. And if you need that after 1 or 2 months of not working, you were already in trouble years before. Years. Not months, years. If it knocked you out in 1 month, you were in trouble for years. I only did it for 4 months. Oh, the paper route thing. Gotcha. But anyway, I thank you guys because I got to get up rolling here pretty soon. So I thank you guys all for joining. I appreciate it. Don't forget to join the group. Let me put this up here. If you enjoyed the show today, there's Savings Minus Debt is my Cash App. Appreciate all the donations. Thank you. Thank you. Free 30-minute consultation at SavingsMinusDebt.com. If you have any questions, you can email me at SavingsMinusDebt@gmail.com. Okay. Please don't forget to subscribe. Go check out my YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, my website. Go check out my website. It's a one service that fits all. I promise you, I can help you at any level of debt you're at. I can help you. I only deal with personal debt, okay? Ill Will says, I'm going to give you your props. You called this about 1.5 months ago. They are driving movie theaters. They are driving movie theaters popping up everywhere. Oh, they're driving movie theaters popping up. Salute to your third eye. You saw it coming. Yeah. It's a whole new economy, Ill Wills. It's a whole new economy. Okay, she gave me like 10 more minutes. It's a whole new economy. You can either accept it, because I'm going to tell you guys this right now. I'm on the other side of it, all right? I'm on the other side of it, and it's bigger than what you believe. It's bigger than what you think. Okay? And if you ever want to see, I can help you get there, but if you want to do it on your own, all you got to do is get there, get to zero by 2021. Get to zero. Get to zero. And if you're young, let me tell you something. If you're young right now, 20s, 30s, if you're that age, get to zero by 2021. I don't care how you do it. Bankruptcy, sell stuff, whatever you do, whatever it takes, talk your debt down, do whatever it takes to get to zero by 2021. If you get to zero by 2021 and you trust mathematics, on your way out, you will become a multi-millionaire. Always trust mathematics. Always do the opposite of the majority. If the majority have student loans, you don't. If the majority have car loans, you don't. If the majority have credit card debt, you don't. If the majority are financing phones, you don't. If the majority believe they are homeowners while having a 30-year mortgage, you don't. Always remember, you don't own nothing until you pay for it. You own nothing. You do not listen, because this is really strong for these young people. If they are making car payments, you do not take financial advice from them. If they're calling you from a finance phone, you do not take financial advice from them. Nobody gets a finance car on sale. Nobody gets a financed house on sale. Nobody gets a finance phone on sale. Nobody gets finance shoes on sale. That's a trick. That's a mathematical trick. I'm telling you guys this because I wish somebody would have told it to me just like that. You guys have a good one. I'll see you guys in the group. I will be populating that within today or tomorrow. It will be a video going in there. I hope you love it. We're going to talk about it afterwards. Thank you, everybody. Join the group. I'm going to be talking about stuff that I'm not talking about out here anymore. I'm not doing that. I'm not going this. I'm never going to go like how deep I went today. I'm never doing that again out here. Okay. It's got to be for the people that get it. All right. You guys have a wonderful day. See ya.